Hello, everybody in YouTube land.
Hello.
So, where you headed to now, Travis? Back home?
No,
Oh,
I just did a pickup in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I'm driving into New Jersey now to deliver at the warehouse that we take all our mail to. So I just picked up from a Walmart stop, and before that it was a large uh, warehouse for books. So I've got about a 7/8 full of a trailer, but it's not a very heavy load. So,
so does that make it a lot easier to drive when
well,
the load is lighter?
let me
Does
tell
it
you a story.
depend?
Let me tell you a story.
Okay.
So I guess it was probably February of this year, and I was in South Carolina, and it had started to snow, and it wasn't a very heavy snow, but it was enough that it covered the roads because there wasn't enough traffic on them to keep it off. But I'm a defensive driver, so I keep a lot of space between myself and uh, vehicles in front of me. But I was fully loaded. I was weighed down with about 70,000 pounds of beverages, and there was another trailer in front of me, and I was keeping my distance on him. But then I noticed that I was creeping up on him, and he was on his brakes, and then all of a sudden I was coming up on him more quickly than I thought I should, and even though he had his brakes on, he was sliding in the snow.
Oh, man.
So he started to slide off the road
Back end
because,
or front end?
well, his whole truck, because the momentum, he wasn't jackknifing, but the momentum kept him going in a tangent off onto the shoulder, and he had to have been empty because as soon as I figured out what was going on, I put the brakes on, but I stopped because I was so heavy. So I had enough weight that I could grip the road. So in that instance, being lighter wasn't good. Being heavier was. But
Now, safety-wise, okay, sorry, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say on the opposite, if I'm on the road right now, like say, and I was traveling full speed because I was only going like 25 miles an hour at that point because of the weather and because of trying to keep a safe distance. So I wasn't going very fast. But if you're going faster on a main road and there's no horrible weather conditions, then the heavier you are, the more momentum you're going to have, and the more it's going to take you to slow down. So you understand the contrast?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I hear
So
you. Yeah, always in the wintertime, I always like having some weight in the back of my truck.
I bet the company hates when you're weighted down.
Yeah,
what's
what's
that,
the
Adam?
gas mileage difference?
Are you making a comment or are you asking a question?
No, I was just saying earlier that I bet the company that you work for hates when you got a lot of weight.
Oh, they make so much money, man. It doesn't even matter. There's so much money in transportation. It's not even funny.
Oh, I know. It costs an arm and a leg to have something, a large load like that sent back and then have to pay to have it sent out again. My company, they'd get so mad when something would get, returned.
Yeah.
And then they'd have to eat all that because it costs a lot to have bulk sent long distances. Geez, they
Yep.
wanted $150 just to send my guitar from Indiana to Arizona.
Huh.
Just that one little guitar. Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
Probably because it was misshapen.
Yeah, they had to use the biggest box, they said.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been working on a smoker.
Yeah, I saw that. Earlier.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, on Facebook, that's right. Yeah, it's fun. I like welding a lot. I'm kind of finding my groove a little bit.
Right.
Definitely an art form.
Dude's a natural, man. It's actually pretty incredible how good his first. And I showed him one of the pieces that I welded my first time, and it's it's crazy.
Yeah, I wish that I would have had more of that mindset when I was a kid. My grandfather was very constructive and always doing stuff. His shop was just always busy with his creativity, and he did metal work. He did woodwork, and I just never. And he wasn't that kind of a role model. He wouldn't have said, "Hey, you want to build this with me?" That wasn't the way he did stuff. You know.
That's how a lot of guys in certain trades are, or even jack of all trades, especially. They're not going to give up their friend, foe. It doesn't matter. They're not giving it up. Those are their tricks of the trade, their secrets.
But I think though that if I would have had the motivation and asked him to show me stuff, he would have. But for him, he never took the motivation that way.
Yeah, my grandpa was that way too. He'd show you once and that was it. You know, if you weren't paying attention, then sorry.
Yeah. It's like you want to be a smart ass and say, "Well, you got it right the first time. Come on." Show me again.
Yeah, that's definitely been the story of my life, having to do shit 3-4 times lately. Cause I'm remodeling the inside of my house, trying to get everything wrapped up. I got till Tuesday before our son's due. My wife's about ready to pop, so
Right.
she said we got the trim done today and shit, so she's really happy. She's like, you can do whatever you want tonight. There's sometimes though where she'll come out here in the shop and be like, you know she's pissed. She's got her hand on her hip. She gives me that look like, what are you doing? Doesn't matter what I'm doing.
She didn't say nothing. She just gives you that look.
Yep.
I'm in trouble. No, she's a cool lady. She's a very cool lady.
She's put up with all of my shit. 13 years.
And their daughter is so smart and funny. Gosh, she has a sense of humor. It's been so long since I've been around. All my nieces and nephews are grown up. My little brother is grown up. It's been a while since I've got to, just sit and talk with a 4-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love it. I saw Dave from the UK, the guy that has the Trinity channel.
I think I know you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? He's got that dark hair. He's got that. He went on the Globe tour. And
yes.
He's done a lot of Speaker's Corner stuff, and he's
Roxanne and them.
Yeah. So he's actually going to be on my show tomorrow. We're going to talk for about an hour, or if we go longer, that'd be fine too. But he had a live stream this morning, and he was taking a walk with his son, and he had the camera on his son for a little bit, and his son was just soaking up life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome to watch that. I love watching, because it's crazy now. Addison wakes up in the morning and she's like, "Where's Hank?" I'm gonna go say bye to Zach, and she's just all about hanging out with Hank and Zach. All she talks about is the garden. When are we going to plant the seeds? And
Pretty soon.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be amazing. That's going to be a whole. I mean, the dynamic of what you guys are doing in terms of showing her how to work with and develop life, you know. So it's almost like building something, either woodworking or doing something with metal. You know, it's the same thing. You got an end product. So it's all about just showing them
There's a
your
process.
love.
Yeah.
Your love,
Yeah.
right? Your
It
love
is a
for
process.
the process. Yeah.
That love.
You get better.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, you get better and better at it every time you do it.
And your intention. You know, if you intend for it to be good, you're going to take the time to make it good. If you intend not to care what it turns out to be like, it's, you know, most likely it's not going to be as well put together.
And then you've got the inquisitive mind of a child who might offer up another way of doing it.
Yep.
What if we do this? Or why can't we just do this?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be like, all right, why don't you go ahead and do that? You do that and I'll do this and we'll see what happens.
That's how I raise my daughter. I'm very lenient. I let her make her own mistakes. And then I explain to her when she fails, why she failed, and just tell her not to do it again. Learn from it.
Yeah.
When she gets hurt, as long as it's not something serious, me and my wife we're not programmed to run up to her and see, you know, are you okay? We let her get up, and she's not bleeding. We don't say anything until she comes up to us.
Yep, that's exactly it, man. Because that's all training. You know, that's all. It's funny because my ex-wife and I raised our kids the same way. You know, if they fell down, we would just say, "Uh-oh, get back up," or whatever.
Yep.
Or, you know, but there was a lot of times when we would be watching them to see if they were okay, and they would look to see if we were looking.
Yep. And then they'd turn it on.
If we were looking, they would get the, you know, try to milk it. And we're like, "Get up, you're okay." And they're like, "Oh, damn, it's not going to work."
Yep, they're looking for that sympathy.
Yep. I remember reverse psychologizing my kids when we were in the stores and we would see other children throwing tantrums. I mean, like, just on the floor screaming. And I would always say, "All right, Charlie, that's what you should do if you ever want something and I say no, okay?" And he's like, "Dad, you don't mean that. You don't want me to throw a fit." And I said, "No, if you want something, that's what you're supposed to do. Throw yourself on the ground and throw a fit. See what he's doing?" He's like, "You're not telling me the truth, Dad. You're lying." You know, because it was just so ridiculous. I actually went up to a dad one time because it was just absolutely insane. It was actually, I think, on the way out to the Denver conference. This dad was letting his kid just absolutely scream herself into a sweating fit. And I just finally walked up and I just said, "You know, you're actually training your child's emotional and chemical reaction right now. The fact that you're letting her throw this fit is creating within her a future need to have this same kind of chemical reaction so that she's going to do it again." And he just looked at me like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but this is my kid and I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah.
But I mean, everybody in the airport was looking at this guy going, "Man, control your kid." You know? And what I would do, whether or not, you know, you can take this for whatever it's worth, but what I would do with my kids, when they did get to a point of throwing a fit, I would get down and I would hold their hand in my hand and I would gently pinch their nail. You know, I would squeeze the tip of their finger.
Yeah, my dad did shit like that to me when I was young. He'd grab my hair.
Adam, I just changed that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I was wondering why it's so hot.
Sorry about that, Travis.
No, it's okay. No, I don't mean like I don't mean like tweaking your ear or twisting your hair. I would just take their hand in my hand and I would just gently press on their fingernail with a little bit of pressure, and no one could see what I was doing.
Yeah.
But I would talk to them and I would say, settle down, stop having a fit. But I would just gently press on their fingernail just enough, and it only took a couple of times for them to know that that was not, the right behavior.
Appropriate. Yeah. Yeah.
But all I was saying was, instead of spanking them in public, giving them a swat
Public
on the
humiliation.
giving them a swat on the butt or whatever, I would never do anything like that in public.
Yeah.
But I thought it was an interesting subtlety just to do it the other way. And like I said, it only took a couple of times for them to figure out.
Oh yeah.
Plus, the other thing that's interesting to note is that self-control is a large part of parenting, and if you can control yourself not to lose your temper or yell at your child in public, then there's no reason why you can't do it at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I would see people not yell at their kids in public, but yell at their kids at home because they weren't public at home. So they felt like it was
Okay
for them to scream and yell at their kid at home, but when they were out in public, and that was just an interesting thing for me to put together and think, you've got self-control in public. That should mean that you should be able to control yourself as well when you're at home.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much human nature all around in just about every aspect.
Sure, yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah, I lose my temper here and there, but I, for the most part, keep it together, and I'm pretty chill. But there are times, especially since Tony's been pregnant, and we're remodeling our house, and everything's just falling apart, shit like that. I've kicked a few doors, but other than that, I do it out of the sight of my daughter. I try not to get too worked up, but sometimes it happens.
No, I get it, and I don't want to make it sound like that is because I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's who was it? I think it was.
That's the worst too when you're out in public and they're even with Addison. She looks like she's a really good girl, but sometimes she has fits. She's overtired, and you're out in public. Next thing you know, she's just freaking out. You're like, what in the hell is going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, I usually pull her out if it's something crazy like that and she's having a meltdown. I take her outside and I get her away from all the crowd, and
right,
because that's usually what stresses her out too. She doesn't like being around a lot of people. Yeah. But I get what you're saying. Sometimes there's a point where you're like, throw in the towel. Go do something just with your, I don't know. Sometimes like even at night when it's just me and my girls, she'll have a little fit or a meltdown. I'll say, hey, you want to go get some fresh air? And she's like, yes, Dad, I need fresh air. And that's it. She just needs to get outside and walk for a minute, and then we go back in. She's ready to go to bed. It's all good.
Yeah, that's great. That's going to pay off in the future. It really will.
Oh, speaking of which, sounds like we're having one right now. Hear that?
Yeah.
All right, I'll be back.
All right. Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with the new baby coming. She realizes it's going to be soon, and she's, it's
Is she the only
a
child
big
right
change. Yeah.
Yeah.
4 years old. So yeah, I think she's well aware that things are going to change here soon, and she'll be all right though.
Yeah.
She's got a great imagination. And it's usually just when she's tired. She doesn't do that very often, have her little tantrums. When she gets tired. Yeah, it's a handful when they're young. I mean, they're
So
handfuls when they're older too, but
yeah, well, it's all organic and progressive in terms of personalities. Um, I mean, I don't think you really understand a lot of who you are until you're put into new and different situations. So, for instance, a person who's never been married, but who has uh, had relationships, there's a difference between, uh, well, I guess it depends on whether or not you live with a person and you're not married. So let's say, for instance, you date someone for a while, but then you decide to move in together or get married, whatever you're going to do to take your relationship to the next level. That next step is going to add dynamics to your relationship that you didn't have before, and that's going to be a different dynamic, so much so that you might be challenged in ways that you've never been challenged before. You're going to have to deal with those things, and you're going to realize things about yourself that because you weren't in those situations before, you didn't know.
yeah, I can I can see that. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I had to clear my throat.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
going a little bit up in the mountains and whatnot, so I don't know if I'm going to fade out at any point. But if that happens, I'll
Okay.
come back in whenever I can.
Oh man, I just got suckered into a strawberry milkshake. Damn, she's good, man. She is freaking good. Ah, gotta love it though. It's totally worth it at the end of the day. So
Oh, you're driving, Trav. You really can't look.
just for all the people out there that know Hank, this dog can dig a tunnel to Mexico in like 10 minutes. This dog is incredible. I've never seen an animal like just
No, he
straight up
was being
one
bad
second.
today.
He's like a hedgehog. It's crazy. No, I think it's awesome though how he literally made like a little cave.
I can't turn my light on.
Oh yeah, you can show him.
Let me grab a flashlight.
Yeah,
Like a little foxhole.
dude, I could hide in it for sure. I don't know if we could fit two people in there. If we let him keep going though.
No, he came out. He was covered in dirt. Look at this mound of dirt. I don't know where he thinks he's going. China, maybe?
He's gonna end up upside down.
Yeah, it's way back in there. Crazy dog.
Wow.
But we had a stern talking to today about it. I'm sure we'll have another one.
Oh, dude, I don't care. We'll just bury it. Another one, just like Bo. That's what they do. I don't like kids. Fur
There's
babies.
that smoker. I don't know if you saw. There's a handle that we made. We
I'm
just
gonna
took
let Hank
some
in.
bolts and welded them down to
Oh
it.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and those are our hinges for the door. We're gonna get it looking all nice and pretty, paint it. I'm trying to do this all with one hand here. There it goes. Turned out not too bad. We're going to put a trim all the way around the edge. The 3 outside edges. That's where all the wood will set in there, and then a fire beneath it. You think that'll... It's not very thick steel. But if we started a fire, you know, a charcoal fire, down... Because this is just an old water heater. In the bottom where the fire usually is. And
Are
then
you
we
asking
set...
me?
Yeah. Do you think that'll get hot enough right above it? That steel right above it to just throw wood on top of that and have it start smoking it?
Yeah. I mean, your guess is as good as yours. It makes
Ventilation.
sense.
Yeah, dude, that steel is really good quality too. It's not like your average Walmart smoker steel, you know. I can't tell you exactly what kind of steel it is. I know it's high quality galvanized.
Is that a recent water heater, or is that an older one?
It's about 5 years
2000,
old.
yeah, 2013.
Yeah, we installed that water heater, I think like 2 months after we moved in.
Okay. So what is it about? Is it about 4 feet, 5 feet?
Here, I'll show you what we installed now. Yeah, it's about 5 foot. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I'd say 5 foot. You're actually,
That's the tankless gas one. Just put in. Now you see that right there. Whoops.
almost 5 feet. Yeah, the very tip. It's like 50. What was that? Yeah. 54.5 inches to the seam at the top. And then you also have the top part. Not quite 5 feet. 40 gallon, I think. It should make a good smoker. Hey, Bo. And here's an awesome guy, too. Big Bo Cephas. What are you smelling? You smell something? You're so handsome. You sound pretty. I know.
Now, what kind of dog is that?
See a pit bull, Adam? Pure pit?
Yeah, he's half red
Look at his
nosed
eyes are
and half
beautiful.
blue nose pit. I think they call him blue nose. But yeah, his dad was like a gray and white, and his mom was a pure red nose with like a beige tan coat.
I thought there was some pit bull, but I wouldn't have said it was a full pit bull.
Yeah,
He's
we've
a good
actually gotten away with fake paperwork for him before. Thinking we had a vet that wrote us because we live in an apartment that didn't allow pit bulls. So she wrote us some paperwork saying he was a boxer, and it worked out great.
Huh.
And he doesn't have a mean bone in his body. He's got a tough bone and leave my bone alone bone. Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah.
He just stares out the front window, and people, like UPS guy will show up and he'll be like, "Man, that dog freaks me out every time I pull in." And I'm like, "Dude, he's harmless. He's completely harmless."
Was it you guys that were talking the other day, or was it another channel where we were talking about how pit bulls were nanny dogs?
That was us. I like to tell people that because I don't know, it's incredible when you look into it.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of like old school, like back in the 20s.
Yeah, actually babysat.
Yeah. Boxers are the same way.
Yeah, they're
I
real
had
good with kids.
I had a brother-in-law who had a boxer, and when one of my children was like just crawling, she would stand over the top of him and just walk wherever he was walking, and just walk over the top of him, and like she was watching him. It was very cool.
Yeah, that's how Bo is with my daughter. He's very protective, but at the same time, he wouldn't. I mean,
He would
I don't
grab
know.
you and let you know. He wouldn't grab you and shake and rip your arm off. And
Well, this is the thing though. Like, if he didn't know you and you came like running through my yard, he would definitely
yeah,
chase
then
you
he
down.
might. Yeah.
He's going to get you. There's not like he lives with 3 cats. He sleeps with them every night. But if there's a cat that he doesn't know, when I let him out in the backyard, there's a couple of cats that didn't quite get away. They hit that privacy fence and didn't quite make it over. But he doesn't. He grabs a hold of them, and when I start yelling at him, he'll let go. But I don't know what he would do if I wasn't there, you know? But yeah, we've had him since he was a puppy, and he definitely loves his family. They're single owner dogs, if you ask me. Like, you can't have a pit bull as a puppy and then be like, oh, I'm just going to give it to my friend, or unless he knows that friend, you know, like, it takes Bo a minute to get used to people. Like, it took him a few days to get used to Zach and Hank, and then he was fine. But at first, he was like, whoa, wait a second. He wasn't too sure about it.
Now he's my buddy.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to hear my thought?
Let's hear it.
All right, so it might not be that profound, but it hit me. And Antonio Subarats was doing a live stream earlier, and he was talking, and he said something, and he was just stream of consciousness talking, and he said something like, he was talking about how Mars is not going to be real, you know, going to Mars is not going to be real. And he was talking about the Van Allen belts, and he was talking about our flat Earth, but, you know, whatever's up there is up there. There could be, you know, something up there. He said something like this: who knows? If you got up high enough, who knows? You could float, right? And so I thought for a moment, I thought, well, the only way that I could float is if the medium in which I was if it was dense. But the higher we go, supposedly, the less dense it gets. So that's completely antithetical. There's no way I would say that you would float if you go up high enough. There's no way, because it doesn't get more dense.
But do we know that for sure? It does get hotter up there.
Right. No. I understand that aspect. But based on what we're told, the fact that the density of our atmosphere is thicker at the ground level than it is higher up. So all I'm saying is, based on what we think, if we go. But in my mind, it was a tangible idea to think the only thing I could float right now is that if I was surrounded by something thick.
Yeah, more dense.
Right.
Yeah.
So even for me to think about, even in the system that we have right now, floating in space wouldn't work, because we're heavier than nothing. If there's no medium around us, we're not going to float. You know what I mean? I actually had a friend.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's saying there is no force being applied to you now that there is no gravity.
No. Oh, no. We're flying through infinite space. Remember the Big Bang? We're
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
flying.
No. Yeah. Listen to what a friend of mine said. I'm going to try to recreate what she said. It was funny because she's known I'm a flat earther since like January, and she was very. I mean, she nearly cut me off. I mean, friendship wise, and she just lost it whenever she just went ballistic. So I didn't bring it up or whatever, but it's come up every once in a while. Just she's like, so what are you working on? I'm like, you really want to know, And but we had it. She brought it up a couple weeks ago, and we had a good talk. And she was asking me questions. But this is what she said. She said, well, we know that in vacuum uh, in vacuum chambers on Earth, people float. I said, what?
What?
I said, what? She said, yeah, well, in a vacuum, you float. I said, not on Earth. She's like, yeah.
Only in the movies.
She's like, they make vacuum and you float in vacuums. And I was
She
just
knows
like,
where the
wow.
good weed is, man.
Wow. But that's her concept, right? But that's what I'm saying is if you've got a vacuum chamber on Earth and you put something in it and you drop it and it falls, it doesn't matter how high you go, it's still going to fall. You can go, I mean, just go theoretically. Just go theoretically. Just say you go up into space. That's what I started thinking about a couple months ago. I'm like thinking, wait a minute. There's no way we would float in space. We would fall. But we don't. We're floating.
The only thing I could see is if how do I put this? You find no, that still even wouldn't do it. I was thinking about electricity. Because I mean, with harmonics, they can make water float and levitate, which I guess is just another form of electricity.
Yeah.
But there's.
Well, I wouldn't mind entertaining those ideas, but that's
nature
not,
could do that somewhere,
right,
or it was like
right.
that in nature somewhere.
Yeah. I would have no problem entertaining cymatics in terms of what we're talking about, but that's not the model we're given.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I rarely even look at the model we're given anymore. I try not to. It still keeps sucking me back in, though.
Yeah.
You know, it's
like
I tried taking a break. Yeah, I tried taking a break from flat Earth, and everything I see and everything I look at is. Then I see it and I take it for what it is, and I appreciate it, and I take pictures of it and all this, and then I think about, well, on a flat Earth, that would do this or that or this. It's always in there. It's like one of those things, those itches you just can't scratch. I haven't scratched it yet. Yeah,
anyway,
I've got a couple
that's
ideas for some tests and observations. Got up my sleeve. I think should be
anything that's outside of the box then?
Eye-opening. No, not really. Vision-wise, it has to do with my equation that I wrote, testing that out a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, mathematically it works, but does it work in real life?
Yeah, it does, because math is reality. So what? You don't even have to try it out. You just need to write out your formula, and there you go. You just go there and ends. See?
That's what I got to give a big shout out to Gav, who's always on with Dell from Beyond the Imaginary Curve.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get together on Sundays. He, Chris Van Matre, a gentleman named Glenn that goes by the handle Orbic Fudpucker here on YouTube. All four of us get together on Sundays and just have a powwow about, well, that's how we made the Great Switcheroo.
Yeah.
Just get together for a couple hours and talk about perspective and this and that. And really, it's Gav is he's amazing, man. That guy is smart. Just some
Yeah,
of this.
yeah. I've enjoyed it.
Did we lose you? Yeah, he might have hit somewhere.
Yeah, it sounded like we lost him. I'm
Three.
making a strawberry milkshake with Daddy Lynn real quick. I'll be right back.
Cool. I think we
Yeah,
picked
I'm
you back
back
up,
now.
Trav. Okay, cool.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that was before I knew who you were in the Great Switcheroo. I don't know that I was familiar with you at that point.
Part 2 is being edited right now.
Oh,
It
good.
takes a while to do that stuff. I have a
Yeah.
lot of respect for the people who have the patience to do video editing. Well, yeah, when you're taking 12 to 20 hours and breaking it down to 2,
Oh, yeah.
just the good parts and this and that. And um, somebody had a great idea to put together like like Flat Earth Clues kind of, but doing it with just perspective and how the eye works. Kind of like a shorts, 7, 8, 12, however many it took
Yeah.
to just come up with, because there's so many different aspects of perspective. And you really need to start out from the very beginning on how the physics of it, the physics of a lens with a circular aperture and this and that and yada yada yada. And then work your way up to, you know, the vanishing point and all that kind of stuff.
Well, here's something that I've always wondered. How did they know that the image in your eye gets flipped upside down?
See,
Because,
I don't even know if that's even true.
right?
We've talked
I mean,
about that, and
yeah,
they say
you
there's
would,
no proof of that at all.
huh?
I believe it was Gav who told me that. It might have been Glenn. But yeah, there's no. That's one of those old wives' tales.
Is
Don't
it?
hold me to that, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they
Well,
said.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I've thought about it. I'm like, how do they even know that? But that's one of those questions that we just go, okay, I guess you guys must have cut open the eye and just figured it out.
Yeah, like they know where this sensor is ending up on the brain and how the brain is. Yeah, it's all. There's no way. I mean, they used to cut people open to bleed out the bad blood, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing that tripped me out too. I was watching something about Egypt, and they were showing the all-seeing eye, and then they showed the pineal gland, and I'm like, how did the Egyptians know? I mean, I guess they performed autopsies on people after they were dead and figured shit out. But I mean, even then, it was like, how do you know the pineal gland does what it does? How did you know back then
Yeah, that it
that the
was
pineal gland
important.
was the third eye? I mean, that kind of stuff is just you've got to have more information.
Constant is asking if you could repeat the name of the band with the Open Your Eyes album. It was a bunch of different bands, I believe.
No, it was one band. It was System Protest,
System Protest,
all one word.
all one word. Oh yeah, they can hear you. Why am I repeating it to them?
Did you?
Man,
Were you able to listen to that song with Crow?
yeah, yeah, that was
What'd
pretty
you think of
cool.
it? Did you like it?
Yeah, oh yeah,
I liked it. I thought it was very, very profound. It's like it's just. I sent it to my friend, and I think I even posted it on Facebook. I'm like, let this be your wake up song. Let this be the song that wakes you up because it's just so profound. They're playing a game. You're looking at a system. You're taught how to live within the system, but you're not taught anything about the system.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like
So
playing a
profound.
video game, you know? And they have all the cheat codes.
Right. Yeah.
The make your own money cheat code, and, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I've been trying not to focus so much on the doom and gloom.
Well,
It's weird, it changes as you, because when I was out there in the desert, not seeing television or hearing, or not even really even being on YouTube that much, having all that stuff kind of taken away, it was different. It really was.
yeah. Yeah. Well, Ranty had an interesting live stream earlier today where he was talking about surviving the reset, you know, and it's it's a matter of having the resources and the ability to have shelter, have food, and warmth, clothing or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think that if we were to go off and find a nice plot of land and build a shanty and plant a garden and not have any TV, I think we'd be happy as pigs in shit, Did I drop off again?
No, you're still here.
Okay.
I was just thinking about that. I would. It'll happen one day. One of these
Yeah.
days. That's my goal. Yeah. Now it might even be a little more realistic. Stop presenting.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm somewhat wrestling with right now because I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment and I've got no cable, I've got no TV, and my kids just have no desire to come over because besides playing Monopoly, playing other board games that I've got, that's just not what they want to do. And so I wanted to have that kind of a culture in the house, but that wasn't where my wife was, and so it wasn't something that was a
Yeah, it's definitely got to be a two-person
point of compromise. I mean,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's one reason why I've had so much trouble finding the right one. I don't know.
I changed even. I changed after we got married. My views on things started to change.
Yeah, that's the hardest part about it. You're looking for one girl, and then, 5 years later, you're looking for a completely different girl.
No. Well, I meant my views in terms of how I wanted to live and how I wanted to spend my time.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, me too. Same difference. I was looking for a girl that wanted to do one certain thing and live one certain way, and then 5 years later, I'm looking for a girl that's almost the exact opposite.
Yeah. Okay. I get it.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying too. Oh man, it's beautiful here in Florida. right now. It was still over 80 degrees today.
It is not. It's gotten into the 40s, but it has not gotten as cold as I think it should be by now. It's crazy. A couple days ago, it was 60, 55, 60 degrees.
Yeah, that's weird. You're pretty high up there too, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Indiana hasn't had a real good snow there, northern Indiana yet. A little bit here and there. I don't know. I think there's a grander cycle that we just don't know about. I
Weather
just have a
pattern
hard,
wise,
yeah. I mean, the earthquakes that have happened alone. And I know we have many more sensors now and we're watching many more volcanoes now, but just even big, large eruptions, they they grew dramatically for a while there. I think it was right around 2008 it started maybe and went on for I don't know how many years, 6, 7 years, where we just had volcano activity just went wild. I used to follow Dabu7, who always was covering the volcano. I think he actually still does. He covers a lot of earthquake everything.
huh.
But yeah, they were trying to predict earthquakes by what the sun was doing, solar flares and this and that. Want me to start that?
Oh yeah, we gotta have water. No, I went in there to get water. Sucker me real quick.
The old strawberry milkshake. But yeah, I just don't think human beings have the capabilities of. I mean, even if they were doing it on purpose, I don't think they have the capabilities of changing Mother Nature. They may be able to alter certain areas for certain amounts of time, but I don't think they have. That's just my opinion. I think they would have done things by now.
Well, that's the interesting thing about the mud flood. And Martin's episode earlier tonight was pretty interesting with some of the footage that he brought up with these towers. That he was saying that looked like superconductors. And you just sit there and think, man. I mean, it's like, what did we use, or what was their, what was the ability to do things, just a couple hundred years ago. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the only thing that has kept me out of the whole mud flood, diving into that ocean of, research that you can do.
Yeah.
Is just a lot of it's based on history and that there's places you can go and see a lot of this stuff. And I understand that, but I just don't know if we can actually ever know how much we knew back then or it's kind of like history. It's hard to ever
Yeah.
trying to focus more on the future. But I mean it's I could listen to people talk about it all day long. It's not like it's a boring topic to me or anything like that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just one more thing to help show people that, yes, we've been lied to. Yes, we should have things. Things should be a lot better than they are. And they could be if just the people in certain positions changed, you know?
Yeah, well, you know, it's the whole, um, I guess, to a certain extent, it's the whole herd mentality, but in a positive way in terms of protests or activism. I mean, you know, I don't know if it was you. I think it might have been you in one of your earlier Crocheters Corners, where you were just talking about how our numbers are greater than theirs are, but that's only true if it's a collective. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They're very united, and it is a well organized, well knit web.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to give them
I
credit
mean,
for that.
ultimately, I've thought about this in the past year. It's like if you could get a group of people together, almost like The Village, you know, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Village, where they just create their own society. So it's not even a matter of standing up to the powers that be, except in the sense that you're passively standing up by walking away from the system. So it's not like you're being aggressive and taking the offensive. You're just walking away and saying, "Look, leave me alone." You know, because that's the sign of a bully, right? You've got you've got a playground, and the bully comes over and says, "This is my spot." So then you get up and you move to another spot, and he comes over and he stands there. "This is my spot." You know,
Yeah,
and that I mean, so that's what the government would do. The government is either going to come after you, or they're going to ignore you. You know, if you're small enough, if you're insignificant enough, they might not even worry about making it a big deal. But ultimately, if we were to say, let's get 100 people or whatever and create our own community, you know, what would happen? Would the government come in and say, okay, you guys can do this, but you got to pay taxes? We're like, no, not going to do that.
yeah.
I don't think so. Thanks for trying, but because what are you going to do? You're going to, enforce this with uh, coercion and violence?
See,
Because
that's
that's the
where it
only
all
way,
comes down to: were these things real? Like Waco. Did
right?
Waco happen the way they said it did? Or was that a scare tactic,
That blew my
a
mind.
false flag?
That blew my mind. I actually, I think I put the pieces together listening to someone, and I went back far enough, and I was like, wait a minute, what does that mean about Waco? And I was like, no way, are you serious? Oh yeah,
Makes you wonder.
yeah, because I only know what I heard on the news, right?
Yeah, we only get to see what we see from the news.
I mean, I didn't research anything. I didn't go and look at what they had. I didn't go and look at whether or not he was really called David Koresh and how that gets tied back to Cyrus, Koresh, Cyrus, Curse. You see how he wants to be the world leader and whatever.
I think it's what, 6 companies that own all media, pretty much.
Yeah,
97% or something like that.
yeah, yeah.
And I think the six is just a joke as well. It's probably for tax purposes or because you're not supposed to have a monopoly. I bet it's all the same group that own those 6 companies.
Right. Yeah,
So, I mean, if they don't want you to see something, you're not going to see it. The revolution, the big one that takes place, because we don't know if somebody could go and start a revolution in, Texas, and I'm sure they have so many things in place to quiet it down. I'm sure they have ways to like say, okay, this state, you're not going to hear anything from any other state right now.
Yeah, I
If
don't
they were
know.
smart, they would.
I don't know how you can get away with, with all of the mass uh, personal uh, media devices that you have these days. I don't know that you can get away with controlling every avenue.
But yeah, you would have to just cut off the internet in that area. That would have to be a have to.
Oh, yo, water right here.
But yeah, the revolution won't be televised. It's going to be a grassroots thing, just like flat Earth. Walking around with my flashlight on. It's amazing how warm it is.
Yeah, it's like 80 right now. It's crazy. Probably not 80, maybe like 75. It's been warm.
These new motors are amazing.
Yep, it's all plastic now. Plastic
That's
intake.
crazy.
And it's turbo. They last as long as you take care of them. But as soon as you miss that oil change, buddy, see ya. She gone.
They got some weird shows on now.
Yeah, they do.
This one, people singing in some mass. The mass singers. I don't know. Looks like we're getting. Have you seen Idiocracy, Trav?
I've heard of it, but no, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh man, I love that movie.
Who did it?
Mike Judge,
Okay.
Owen, or no, Luke Wilson is in it.
That's good.
Oh
The
yeah,
guy
that's right.
from Old
Yeah,
School.
yeah.
Yeah, it's all about the the world 500 years into the future.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's crazy because it's already. I mean, the president in the future was a former porn star, former five-time WWE champion, this and that, yada, yada, yada. Middle name was Mountain Dew. Not too far from, you know, where we're headed already right now.
Right.
I remember Donald Trump being on WWE. My little brother going crazy.
Huh.
Were you ever into wrestling?
Dude, I could never get into that shit.
Um,
I never.
I remember watching it a bit in the '80s, but I wasn't like a huge fan.
Up until I was about 12. And I really started getting into sports more. But yeah, I used to love wrestling. And yeah, when I was a younger kid, I thought it was a lot more real. And, well, the fighting's fake, but the stories are real. I was
Yeah.
like, but I knew guys that were in, their 50s that were crying because of the story part of it. Because so and so's wife left him for so and this and that. And it's like, man, that's not real. Come on, you got to know that. And it's like they didn't know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I haven't watched sports and it's been years. I used to be diehard Cubs fan,
Yeah,
diehard,
yeah.
and I didn't watch one pitch of the World Series.
Oh no, I was watching it, man. I watched it.
No, I was already. It was like 2011 was the last year I watched any sports,
Yeah.
and now it can be on TV, and I just won't. I just don't watch it even. I'll sit there and talk with somebody, or I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me anymore. It's almost. I was talking with somebody about it, but sports. It was a good way to. What's the word I'm looking for?
Waste money,
Well, waste the time.
resources.
Waste the time of these people who were, the alphas back in school growing up. So they don't grow up and become the leaders. And it was a way to make it so the weaker person could stay in control. You know what I mean? The less charismatic person could still, we can take the popular athletic person and have them play a child's game for the rest of their life where they
Yeah.
don't ever have to really, really influence anyone in any real way, where they could be the leaders of, the nation or whatever, the town or the state or. But I think that's why they pay them so much. Because I couldn't figure that out. Why are you paying these people so much money to do this stuff? I mean, at the end of the day, they're just workers, worker bees like everybody else to the billionaires,
Right.
or the people even above them. So why would they pick them out to be the ones to pay so much money? You take a child's game and you pay people the most to do that. So that's what all these kids strive to be and spend their time doing.
Yep.
Just a
So
thought.
just get them hooked on their false idols while they're young.
What about the movie Dogma? Have either of you seen that one?
Yeah, I saw it a while ago.
Mm,
It's been a while.
negative.
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was good. That was probably my favorite of any of the Ben Affleck characters roles
Yeah,
he's ever done. I've
yeah,
never really cared for Ben Affleck too much.
yeah. Neither do I. I mean, I liked him in Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, he wasn't bad in that one. But that was probably my favorite role before this one, before he did Dogma. I don't even know which one came first, actually. I think Good Will Hunting did.
Yeah, I
Oh, that was a while ago. Yeah, I haven't been keeping up on the movies as much either. Not like I used to.
Well, I saw that there was a new Will Ferrell movie out with C. Riley, whatever his name is, John C. Riley. Uh,
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes one?
Holmes and Watson. Yeah, it looks really funny.
My mom was telling me about that.
I was like, wow, I haven't even heard of that. But
Have you
again,
ever heard
I
of
don't watch.
have you ever heard of Put Locker?
You mean the
Put?
you mean the shoe store?
No, not Foot Locker. Put Locker. Put is in Patty, Uma,
Umbrella.
yeah, Umbrella.
No,
Um,
no, Put Locker. No,
it's a good one for free movies. You got to be careful though, because you have to stay in the site, and there is no downloading. There is no giving your information. There's like 20 fake ones out there as well. I'll send you a link.
Okay. Yeah. Do that.
But yeah, there's like, and most of them are kind of bootleg looking. Some of them are from theaters,
Right.
but you'll get them like sometimes a week or two before they come out here in the United States.
Okay.
Some of them will say not for, uh, public viewing and yada, yada, yada.
Right. Just to have a disclaimer.
Yeah,
Yeah, do that. Send me a link.
I'll do that right now. Yeah, that's what I watch all my movies on
Okay.
when I watch them. Started watching Hulu again now that I've been here. I love Rick and Morty. I could watch it over and over and over again. The episodes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I broke down and got internet for my apartment. I've spent so much time trying to upload videos with my phone as the hotspot, and it just takes forever. And I'm just thinking, you know what? My time is worth getting the internet.
How much did you end up paying?
I got the lowest package. I got it for like $39.
That ain't too bad.
So I asked Josh Corey how much, or what package he got, and I think he said 60 megs, and that was the lowest package, so I went with that. So I think it should be okay. Because the next one up after that was like 250.
Jeez.
You know, it went from 60 to 250. And I'm like, because I knew that they were going to lie to me whichever way. If I've said, how much? I mean, what does that even look like? Like how what do you have to do to use up that amount? So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But when Josh said that that's how much he used, and he does his stuff with Iron Realm, I'm like, yeah, I'll be all right.
Yeah, he's got a pretty sweet setup. You walk in and it's like going into what's the name, like a Star Trek, walking onto the bridge. It's like four different screens and all that kind of, yeah, it's pretty neat. He's got his own little bat cave down there.
Is anybody watching the chat?
No, I've been glancing at it here and there.
Shit.
I'm driving, so I can't see it.
I'm trying to fix Mama's car.
What'd the computer say?
Bank 1, lean. Bank 1 O2 sensor is going to be my first replacement. Took a screenshot of it.
See, he's got all the bells and whistles.
Dude.
You work on cars much, Trav?
Not really.
Check.
I had a 72 280Z when I was 19, and I just did the brakes and oil on that. That's about as far as I've ever got, just doing brakes and oil.
Oh, those are the two most important things. So you're off to a good start.
Yeah.
Most people start with their stereo system or their AC.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna mute because I gotta start this thing. It's gonna be loud. It's a race car.
Whoa. Yeah, I've been thinking about what we're gonna do with the smoker. Put some artistic touch to it.
Well, now that Mama's car is done, why don't we get after it if you're feeling up to it? I'm down.
Yeah, I'm ready to play with the welder
Do a
some
little
more.
welding.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can fire that thing up. I'm about to pull this thing out right now.
I don't know if I asked you or not, Trav. Have you ever welded before?
No. Like I said, that was, my grandfather did. He had all the stuff in his. He was the head groundskeeper at a community college where he lived.
That's right. You were telling me about that.
So, I mean, he had it, and I saw him working on it, but I never did anything myself. So.
It's fun. It
I'm
really
sure.
is.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Once you get an alright bead laid down, you know, and you realize you can do it, it's kind of like picking a lock,
Uh-huh.
which I still think everybody should try at least once. Not to go breaking into people's houses or anything like that, but just to understand how easy it is. If the only thing keeping out a bad person is not that lock.
Well, I mean, the odds of being in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person having lock picks are, not a very high chance, I don't think. It's like I don't know, 1 in a million.
Yeah, I've used my lock picks 3 times now in the last couple of years, helping people
That
get
would
into
be,
stuff.
that would be interesting to do that, because I did lock myself out of my apartment once, and I had to wait like 3 hours because my landlord was nowhere near me. That's interesting. So, do you have a recommendation if I go on Amazon or something?
Um, there's a bunch of different kinds of lock picks. I would go something that was titanium if you want. Well, actually, I'd just go get the starter kit. You can get one for like 10, maybe $15.
Yeah.
Um, Amazon, and they'll even send you a little clear lock so you can see what you're doing in there and how the
Huh.
lock works and this and that.
Huh.
Really, the best thing to do is go to Bosnian Bill, all one word, here on YouTube.
Okay.
He's a lock. I don't know what he does. He always says he's not a locksmith. But this guy, he picks like every type of different kind of lock. He goes and people send him all kinds of locks to see if he can pick them. It's pretty neat watching him do his thing. But yeah, I got John Savage from IRM. He's hooked on lock picking now. Well, he was there for a while. It gets old after because
Yeah.
I wasn't picking just any old random lock ever. I'd only pick my own, or if people needed help and asked me to. Like I have ones for picking car locks that I've never used before. I just don't want to mess up mine because you can mess up locks trying to pick them.
Yeah.
I mean, most of them are just brass, and then your keys are steel. It is fun though. It's a really neat feeling. I don't know which one's more gratifying, picking a lock or welding two pieces of metal together. It'd be close. I don't know. I got a real big kick out of welding two pieces of metal together. Something about it, just taking two different things that hard and that solid and using it to melt them together. And then, I mean, they cool like quickly. Metal is amazing. It's just an amazing substance. You can turn it to a liquid real quick, and it can turn right back to a solid like real quick. It's neat. There's a lot to learn out there. A lot to learn. But yeah, once I get settled in Croatia, I'm definitely adding a welder to my list of toys that I want for sure.
You already got one. I already showed you. Told you I'd give you that other welder if you want it. My first one.
Yeah, I'll have it sent over.
It's not that heavy. Plugs into any wall socket too. That's what's nice. It has limitations, but
Yeah, I don't know what the electricity will be like over there. Say it's like 1950s United States. Kind of what they're going through over there right now. It'll be interesting. You drink coffee, don't you, Travis?
I do.
I've gotten a taste for coffee now.
turned him into an addict.
As long as it's not Folgers.
No. Just out of curiosity, why no Folgers?
Oh,
What do they
Folgers
do?
is Folgers. No, it's just it's like drinking Budweiser.
Oh, okay.
It's just the
The
low.
old style.
I don't even know
Yeah,
if I would say the old style. It's just not good quality. It's just
it's the mass-produced
yeah.
shit coffee. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Well, yeah, that was the old style beer where I came from, the Chicagoland area. That was like one of the cheapest beers you could buy was old style.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm over at somebody's house and they're like, "Hey, would you like some coffee?" I'd say, "Yeah, what do you have? Folgers?" Something? No, can I just have some water?
Speaking
Do
of
you
coffee, I'm coming. I'm coming to get mine.
do you filter your water, Trav?
Yeah, I bought a water filter last month. Or I mean, a distiller. I distill my water.
There you go. Have you noticed any difference in how you're feeling?
No, I don't think so. Does that mean it doesn't work? I got ripped off.
No, it could take, months, years. I don't know.
I mean, I noticed it. I noticed the taste right away. It tasted like it was, not fresh from a stream, but it had a crispness to it that wasn't tap water. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So there was a difference in the taste for sure.
I had some stuff out of a stream that was just as, actually, it was cleaner. This was in, what's the name? Bonita Stream. I'm not sure where it actually started, but there was a Bonita Lake in, not Capitan, Rio Doso, it's called, New Mexico. and we went up into this, and I had my water electrolyzer, and I tested the water out of the reverse osmosis machine in town against that stream water right out of the stream, and the stream water was actually cleaner.
Huh.
I couldn't
Dude,
believe it.
don't drink your city water. That's for sure.
Yeah, did you see that video I did, Trav? Adam and I were playing with the electrolyzer.
No.
It melted a glass plastic
Oh.
cup that it was in. It got over what was it, 160 degrees
Yeah, and we
was the
shut it
warmest
down at
we
that
got.
point.
Yeah,
So you
there
mean
was something
there's
in
too
this.
many?
I
There's
don't
like
know.
some particulates or whatever in the water that heat it up.
Something.
Yeah,
That's what we got to
something. It
figure
was
out.
getting hot. Yeah, I wasn't. I'm not. Still not sure.
Huh.
Yeah.
But it got hot, and the other water was, I think, high 70s, maybe 80 degrees, while the electrolyzer was running. But yeah, the city water was 160. Crazy.
Yeah,
That
it's
was the
pretty
first
fucked
time I
up.
did city water. That's one thing I wish I would have done more of too while I was out. Just test the waters from all different places.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been a good series.
Yeah, it's just one more thing I'll start doing. And Europe is tiny compared to the US.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, as many miles as I put on just in the last, end of the summer and through fall. I could have probably crossed Europe, probably 3 times. I put on about 8,000 miles on my truck.
In a truck with almost 300,000.
She's a good girl.
Well kept.
Yeah, I'm proud of her. She did really well. Yeah, when I started her today, she didn't sound too happy. She's like, "Why haven't you drove me lately?"
Yeah, I've got a '93 Bronco that's needing a new fuel pump and a new steering column gear shift, and I have been itching to get it fixed. But
Those are the fun
the
ones to work on.
yeah, so the company that I drive for, there's a couple of guys in the office that work on cars. So we're through the peak season. So he said now that it's not as busy, he'll give so he's going to do my truck for like under $200, and the garage wanted over $800 to do it.
What were you getting done?
The steering column came loose, and so it won't shift back into reverse or park. So I can drive it, but I can only drive it for a little while because the fuel pump's messed up. So it needs a new fuel pump, and it needs the steering column shift fixed.
Huh.
So the guy.
It's automatic,
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wished it was a manual, but I waited around, kept looking for a Bronco that was a manual, and nothing came up, and everything was too expensive, and this one came along, and I was just like, all right. So I went and looked at it, looked okay. I did as good of a look over as I knew how to, but so this happened. So I haven't been driving it for like the past 6 months.
Yeah, is that the full-size What year is it? You say?
93. Yeah, it's full size.
Okay, so that's got like a 21 gallon fuel tank. I
I
think
think so. It's been a while since I filled it.
they're
But
not. Yeah, if you can, get it down to like a quarter of a tank, make it easy on them. But if you pull it up in there full, it sucks having to drain tanks down.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's a really good deal. $200 for a friend. I'd probably. I mean that's pretty low actually. So shit,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. I was like, holy cow.
Parts and everything, parts and
Yeah.
labor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. That's
Jump on that.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, it's like
as
this
long
for
as
the.
you know them real well.
Well, I mean, uh, I don't know him real well, but
Yeah.
the guys in the office that have known him longer than I have said he's pretty good. So whatever.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's not can't hurt any worse than it is right now.
Yeah,
It's just sitting there.
true.
But yeah, he said the parts are this, and I'll just charge you 65 for the labor. I'm like, an hour? He's like, no, total. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's usually what I charge. Is 60 an hour flat rate. Usually it ends up being pretty fair for everybody.
One of these days we won't have to charge anybody anything.
Hopefully. At least want to charge them worthless paper.
It'll just be a smile and a thank you. Everywhere we go, smiles and thank yous. I'm just gonna keep saying it. Eventually it'll happen. People will stop using money.
I think we should have a safety meeting.
Have you been practicing any songs lately, Trav?
No, I haven't. I haven't done anything since I finished that landslide version. I've got to finish the. I still haven't worked though. The last time you and I talked about the American Pie version, I haven't done anything with it. I've just been doing other stuff, and I've forgotten about it.
Yeah, that'll be a tricky one.
Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking, I thought about that for a while actually after we were done chatting. Just trying to think of the next couple lines, and I was having a little bit of trouble. Usually I'm pretty good at rhyming, things like that. I studied a lot of British literature back in high school. Not that I really cared about literature all that much, but I liked the teacher. She was hard and stern and to the point and made me want to learn.
Huh.
I don't know, just the way she did it. I think it's because she was so intelligent, or came off as being intelligent at least, that I wanted to, do good for her. Not many teachers did that for me.
Yeah, I don't think I had a teacher that was an influence on my life that way. Nobody ever stood out to me as. I mean, there was one teacher that I had that was attractive, and she was nice, but she wasn't inspiring that I can remember.
Yeah, this lady, her name was Vera Corey. She inspired me a lot. I went and memorized stuff for her, like overnight.
I did date her daughter though.
Hey, I loved it when when a teacher would challenge me, like say, you can't do that. I don't think you can. I know it's just easy manipulation, like reverse psychology, but not many of them actually used it, or at least used it well. Just something about her made me want to, something, just try to impress her, pretty much. And she wasn't, anything to stare at or anything like that. She was much older, but she had that fire in her. She used to have a cardboard cutout of Jason from Friday the 13th movies. And she had a sword and she would stab it. And she had this old crossbow and she'd shoot bolts at it and stuff. She was crazy. Yeah.
Alrighty
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. Vera Corey made me want to learn about things that. And that was the coolest part about it because it was British literature, but we learned more about what the culture was like, supposedly, at that time. And now I learn about it, it's like, well, probably most of that shit I learned was all nonsense, you know?
Right.
But the story, I mean, people are saying Shakespeare might not even have been a real person.
Right. Yeah. I am drinking juiced stuff. Beets, carrots, pineapple, apples.
Just been
That
juicing everything, huh?
that red leaf lettuce thing that you said.
Fire leaf lettuce?
Yeah,
What is
that
growing that?
yams, or not yam. I guess. Well, yeah, yams. Sweet potatoes. Cutting up everything and just putting it all together. Taste it
I
all.
had
It's
a
really good.
sweet potato. It was cooked, but when I had it, it was cold. And
Uh huh.
it was already skinned and cold. It was really good. I was shocked.
Yeah. I actually learned to like coffee more when I drank it after it cooled off a bit because I could taste a lot more of the palate. Because when it first comes out of the pot or whatever, it's so hot that you can't really all you feel is the temperature. You don't really taste it. You
Mm-hmm.
smell it, but so I think at least for me, what you're saying about the sweet potato makes sense if I'm thinking along the lines of the temperature dropping enough to make the
Well, no, this was like cold, cold.
flavors.
Like it had
Uh-huh.
just come out of like a cooler on ice.
But it was cooked.
Yeah, it was cooked in the morning. The guy always cooked. This was a nomad that I met out there. He had an.
Was it a cat?
Hold on, I think I lost you there.
I
Oh,
said, was it a casserole or was it just the potato
no,
cooked?
just the potato cooked, and then he skinned it and cut into cubes, probably about an inch by inch by
Huh.
inch cubes. And yeah, I put a little bit of salt and pepper on there, and it was good. It was real good. Yeah, he was an interesting fellow. The guy I'm gonna go work for had met him.
Oh, okay.
We actually had seen each other. Well, I had seen him at a campground about a week before we actually met. Maybe 2 weeks before we actually met. I think that was in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I remember seeing his Jeep with the water jugs up on it and all that kind of stuff. But he had spoken to that guy like the day before I did and hung out with him. Yeah, some of those nomads out there, I don't know, it's like they want to be part of both worlds. They don't want to, have the mortgage and all that kind of stuff, but they still want to be in the swing of things, and they're not getting away to get away from society at all. That's not
Look at all that.
their purpose.
What were you gonna say, Adam?
I was just showing
All
off my
that
trim
trim.
work.
Yeah, I
Come
thought
back
about moving up to Milwaukee for a couple of months or so. My friend's a master electrician, and I thought, you know what, I could just walk away for a couple months and go learn something. Because
I recommend it.
he's got a rental unit that I'm sure he'd let me pull up in, because I don't think he's renting it right now. But
I'm already trying to talk my wife into adding on to our property.
yeah,
I would like to add like another 700 square foot. That'd be perfect.
what would you do with it?
Let people like you and Zach stay in it.
Oh yeah.
No, it'd probably be a master bedroom or something. I don't know.
Thanks.
Yeah, right. My wife would, dude, she'd kill me. There's no way. But yeah, eventually we're gonna rent this place out. That's the plan.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening though. Probably gonna end up selling it.
Have you looked into making it into an Airbnb?
Yeah, I've definitely I used to weld on cruise ships occasionally, do a little carpentry work here and there, and the guy that subcontracted me for those ship jobs, he lives locally here in West Central Florida, and he owns, I think, like he's got like at least 10 or 11 rental properties now, but then he's also got 6 Airbnbs that he rents out to people for anywhere from a few days to
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
month.
it's a misnomer, because no Airbnb that I have ever stayed in does the breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
True.
why is this called a bed and breakfast?
Yeah, sometimes there are people, like living there and you're like sleeping on their couch and shit. But
Yeah. The first one I tried out, I'm like, this is not. I
yeah,
am not coming back to this one. Yeah, it was pretty bad. She was a little bit of a hoarder, so it was very congested, very crowded.
When you say a little bit, you mean a lot, don't you?
No. I mean, it was. I suppose her. It was cluttered. It was cluttered. Illusion?
Yeah, I fell out there. I
I
dropped my
said
phone.
it was cluttered. And I mean, it wasn't dirty, but it was crowded. It wasn't comfortable. The bedrooms were okay, and the bedrooms were not cluttered at all, but you didn't like want to go down to the living room. Like, why would I want to go down there?
It wasn't filled with dolls in all the bedrooms or anything like that.
No.
Yeah, definitely recommend, I don't know, learning anything. Even if it's not something that you're going to be using, every day, or something that you want to pursue a profession in. I think learning anything, if you can, if you have the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
why not? You might find your
Yep.
new passion,
Yeah.
I do like welding. It's fun. It's a neat feeling taking 2 pieces of metal and making them, one, nice and solid. going to say that many more times, I'm sure. And how much should a welder like this cost? Or one around its capabilities?
Name brand like a Miller. For something name brand like a Miller or I don't know, Snap On, you're looking at around $5,000. That one from Harbor Freight, it's a Vulcan, it's a MIG, does high frequency TIG, low frequency TIG, and it's a stick welder for $800 to $900, depending if you want a nice mask with it or not.
Yeah, it's fun. It's definitely, I'm going to have one in my lab. For sure.
Let's get that little chop saw.
Gonna get loud. I'm gonna have to mute for a sec.
I came across this this channel, this music channel by the guy, or the channel is the guy's name. It's Rick Beato, and it's his name is actually Beato, but he's just this old school rocker, and I'm addicted to his channel already. I'm like, watch. He's got these what makes this a great song, and he analyzes all these songs, and he just totally geeks out on all the stuff. So and then I didn't even know about this group very much. I mean, I remember hearing about them, but I never got into them. Did you ever get into Tool?
I never got too into them. I had a buddy who did, and I had heard a lot of their first couple albums, but it wasn't something that I listened to a whole lot of.
Yeah, well, my friend that I told you about, the master electrician, I said something to him. I think I sent him this guy's video or whatnot. I don't know how Tool came up, but oh, that's what it was. I had posted the other day about Rage Against the Machine's song "Wake Up."
Yeah.
And I said something like on my post, I said, I don't know what I was doing in the 90s, but I wasn't listening to this. And
I saw them in '98, Aragon Ballroom,
yeah,
Chicago. Yeah.
And
cool
so
band.
that's what it was. So my friend started started recommending all of these heavy bands and whatnot, but Tool was the one that he was coming back to. And so there's this one album, and they have this one song that's completely structured around the Fibonacci sequence. The music,
the words,
and the lyrics.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy.
No, they're very Pink Floyd-esque in the way they
that's
do
what I
things.
said to him. That's what I said to him. I said it reminds me of the prog rock of the late '60s and early '70s.
Yeah, they're very talented musicians, artists. They are, I don't know, Maynard, their lead singer, he's been wrapped up in all kinds of just bad stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know. I quit listening to music so much anymore.
Huh.
Just because of the music industry. I mean, I love music.
Right.
But
well, that's what my friend was saying, was that that Tool, he said you can't find them digitally because they never went mainstream. So all their stuff is still only available on original CDs. So he said
they weren't huge, but they were somewhat popular in the Chicagoland area.
Okay. Well, that's where he's from, up in Milwaukee.
Yeah. I had a buddy in Louisiana though that loved, but he was a music freak. Walt, Flat Earth Head.
Oh yeah.
Over at IRM, yeah, he loved Tool. But he's the one that said Maynard got wrapped up in this or that Um, I don't even want to be misquoted because I'm not 100% sure. There's something to do with underage children, this and that, yada yada yada, something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
But
don't know
just
about
something
that.
not good, and he was all upset about it. And it's just, I don't know. Music industry. We'll just say that the Pied Piper. There's reasons that that's the nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of truth in a lot of those old stories. And music is one way they definitely influence. I don't know, younger people for the most part. Get you to say and chant things that you wouldn't never normally ever do. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, it's
words have
Crow.
meanings and powers, and you know,
Right. Yeah, the word spell kind of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, Crow's got a couple of good sessions on the weaponization of music. Old Tavistock.
hmm That's why the whole music industry, like all of it, just makes me almost cringe. It's like, are any of these people real? Did they even write any of these lyrics?
Yeah.
Is it all just made up? I don't know. No, some of the best musicians I've ever seen play were people that I was watching play at their own house or jamming in like a garage band type setting, just messing around.
Yeah.
I had one buddy, he learned classical piano when he was, like, started when he was like 4 and did that till when he was like 11 years old, maybe. Started playing the drums and just got amazing at that. And then picked up the guitar at like 17, 18, somewhere right around there. And I'd ask him, okay, we're going to do a G, a C, a D, you know, most common chords out there. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Just play and I'll go along with you. Like, how do you do that? He's like, I just know words, and you know, when I hit that one, it makes that noise. Like his brain was set up different to play
Yeah.
music. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's what this guy that I was telling you about, the way he talks, he's like, yeah, and it's this and it's this, but then if you turn it up to if you turn it to 7/8 or a 5/8, then it's this, and I'm just like, I don't even understand it, but I was enjoying it. Because I knew he loved it. You know, you could just tell that he just loved what he was talking about.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. Some people are born with it, and some people have to try really, really hard and put forth a lot of effort.
Yeah. Yeah. That's me, and then I'm like,
And
yeah, I'm done.
I never wanted to get too technical with the guitar. I like creating just different rhythm changes, you know? And then I'll write a song with a muse that descends. There's those up there, and where's those other? Right here. Yeah, we're gonna have to mute for a second. It's gonna get loud.
That's all right.
Oop.
I'm actually getting to the warehouse I'm pulling in right now, so I'm going to have to get out of the truck and go inside anyway, so I'm probably going to sign
Cool,
off.
cool. Yeah, it's probably about time to end this thing anyway.
It was good talking to you, Trev.
Yeah, yeah. You too, man. You too.
Sorry, everybody in chat. I wasn't too watching too much. But yeah, Trav, thank you. That was awesome, man. It's
Yeah.
always a pleasure just chatting. We didn't get
Indeed.
on our topic too much.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. We
We'll,
chewed it.
we'll
Chewed
get
it
to
about.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Omelet
sure.
Master distracted us.
All right,
All
guys.
right, man. Yep. You have a good night.
All right.
Later.
Take it
Be
easy.
safe. Talk
See
to you
ya.
later. Yep. All right, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. Sorry I didn't pay too much attention to the chat,
Who all showed up?
but actually I could leave it going. You guys
Okay.
want to watch us weld a little bit? You guys can keep your chat going.
Oh, that's cool. There's quite a few people in there.
No, I think it's only 4.
Oh, okay. I see. Earlier there was like 15, wasn't there?
I'm not even sure.
Bob showed up.
Yeah, you guys can keep going if you want. I'm just going to mute it while we're cutting this stuff. Yeah, Constance, it's always a pleasure, ma'am. Always a pleasure.
I think you're muted, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to set up my camera to do a time lapse real quick of all this. Got some really neat time lapses already of all this stuff taking place.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, we're putting together a video on how to make your own do-it-yourself smoker.
You mind?
Yeah, I don't
Cool.
know. Safety meeting.
This could get dangerous.
Someone's being a pain in the butt right here.
Need help?
It's just it's on tighter than it was yesterday. I don't have as much room. I'm going to loosen it up a little bit from the bottom. I'll just take this whole thing off. That'll make it much easier. You know what I mean?
You ever seen Primitive Pete?
I don't believe so, no.
Oh, man. We'll have
Is
to
it a
watch that
movie?
tonight. Hold on. No, it's a cartoon. You can probably YouTube it. It's about this little dude that uses hammers for wrenches, wrenches for hammers. It's kind of funny. The opposite tool for the job.
It does sound pretty funny.
We got to build that Wi-Fi router too for Jack.
Yeah.
If that works, I'm canceling my internet. Where's that bar stock we used yesterday?
I am not sure. Did you find it? No?
Sorry, we can use a bigger piece if we need to. Here it is.
Nice. And to show you all what we're doing. Video isn't working due to a problem with the camera. My video. It'll do the one that shows me, but it's not showing the this one. There we go.
It's the bolt. Sorry.
So just like this one right here, and this one here that we already did, we're just gonna weld a bolt onto here, and weld a little latch that'll connect it to our door, and voila. With the bottom of your smoker.
All right, this is where we wake up all my neighbors.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. It is pretty late.
No, it's all good. She's used to it. I'll do it quick. I better mute.
Yeah, just real quick, folks. One more. There we go. That wasn't too bad. Starting to like that smell. Yeah, burnt metal.
Weird because I can hear myself.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun building this thing. Can't wait to use it now. Any idea what color you want it? You want to try that orange out? We're going to put the grooving and put it on the bison welder, right? You want to weld? Yeah, I will. I'm going to shut this off. This is the fun part. Advice is awesome.
Harbor Freight. Weld the bolt on first.
Okay.
You need the two magnets.
A little bit higher. What would you say about right there? Actually, let me take this one off of here. Put that right there. A little bit closer. I don't know if I should be holding this all right? Okay.
It might sound funny to them.
When I was doing, we had a lot of static electricity. The factory I worked at, whenever I'd get shocked,
Interference.
yeah,
With the,
it would really crackle. Let me take these off.
I'm just going to leave it where we were messing with it yesterday. That was pretty good. Switch it from grind to weld.
Yeah. There, but snap, crackle, and popping.
All right. Hold on a second. Try it now.
Yeah.
Better?
Yeah, that was a ticket. Yeah. Better than too close. Should be alright.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter
Oh, yeah.
the way we're doing it.
Should I wait till we put that on before I do the whole thing? Just in case we do have to break it and move it? Okay.
Clean this up real quick.
Too close? Yeah. Hmm?
That's great.
One more cut. It happens. What are you going to do? Oh, it's so much fun, chocolate. You want to play with the welder now. Adam said, come on over.
I would have a slack party over here with this logo.
Flat Earth Party did welding on stuff.
Sorry, I forgot I was muted. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Should we get the one thing and lay it on? Can't let that in the way.
Yeah. You want to make that cut first?
Yeah.
Since you got the mask? I already marked it.
Mute this.
I should probably mute too. Shit's loud. Pretty nice. Yes. Yeah.
breaking metals and cool.
I got a few books you can take.
Probably clean up this edge too.
It'll be all right. Yeah, if we were trying to really make it strong, this little door would be all right.
Didn't we put something behind it?
Yeah, well, we got to throw the door on there.
No, I mean, didn't we put it right here and did this one?
No, I just held it on there and I let it sit and I held it and tacked it. Because no matter how you weld it, it's going to fall on the door.
Yeah.
So however you feel most comfortable. Yeah, and just pinch it with your fingers and then tag it with your other hand. Get 2 good tacks, boom, boom, and then pull that out and run your bead. I'll be over here getting safe.
Safety meetings, they're important.
Supervised. Cool. See you later, chocolate. It's good to see you, Constance. Freaking love you guys.
Beautiful. Go ahead and hit the whole thing now. Should I make sure it moves?
Oh yeah, wiggle. Do the twist test. Make sure you didn't blow through it. Good.
Yeah, that'll work itself out.
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
Turn it down a little so you don't go too far through it.
Those tacks are alright, isn't it?
Yeah, those are nice. Yeah, man.
Now, should I put it in the vise or just do it right here?
Just do it right there.
Okay.
Yeah, that way it doesn't get warped. You'll probably never get it back on. You gotta probably wire brush it a little bit.
Yeah.
Check on the bottom of the welding cart.
Yep.
Yeah, whenever you got dirty metal like this with flux core, try to find the cleanest spot to get it
Started.
Yeah. There you go.
That one felt good.
Thought about that before I see.
Pull it off.
No, just wiggle it back and forth. Yeah, grab it.
Look at that thing.
That's definitely your best one.
That one felt good.
I think. Love you guys.
Take care, all. Have a good evening. All right. Next, the door. This is fun, man. I love this stuff. Now we're gonna, well, no, we'd want to weld it before we do any painting or anything like that, right? Like say we're gonna weld on brackets or whatever to hang stuff on and all that kind of stuff. Weld that first and then tape it off if you don't want that to be a certain color or yada, yada, yada. Or we should get fancy with this thing.
Well, let's put the door on. Well, that's the door.
Yeah.
Get your handle made.
Handle. Should I make that one out of?
Just a thicker bar.
A little bit thicker?
Yeah. Totally got it.
It won't lift back up for some reason. Did I do something?
Oh, no, I thought you were talking about the hand. This guy. You gotta pull that pin.
Okay.
Probably.
Fire in the hole. Then two smaller pieces. Now I'm going to get that piece out of there first. Wonder if Nathan's gonna be back on tomorrow. Am I muted?
No, I was. I hope so.
And that should be the last cut for the night.
I bet that's so loud coming out of somebody's speakers. Or like a good pair of headphones.
Apologize, folks. Clean this up a little bit. This is what I made my first set of homemade lock picks with. Grinder just like this. Then I learned that it gets them too hot and they get too brittle and they end up breaking, so I get them by hand. I'm going to pretty it all up. Sorry that you can't see this, folks. It's like the one area that the camera really doesn't get. Either camera. I wonder if the time lapse is still going. Yeah, but I think I have it set on to where only that one can be seen. Give me a second. Here, let me turn this off. There we go. I'm just pretty much making it pretty. It's hard to grab there in the middle. I should get a pair of pliers. I need to get the, I know I'm going to get these cleaned up a little bit.
Those little ones.
Yeah, I don't want to hold those with my hands. Ooh, dude. Yeah, be careful, man. Yeah, I just cut them.
No, they're hot.
Yeah. There's the thermometer. I won't touch them with any other metal yet. I'll just see what they get to you. I don't even see the red dot. There's nothing.
This thing lasted me like 5 years. I'm not mad.
No, I'd be happy with that. 5 years. Hold that like that. No fun? No, I'm definitely having all the fun right here. You've done plenty of this though, haven't you? Isn't this like what you did pretty much out on ships? Grinding and welding? Just wait for stuff to break?
No, we get there, work wouldn't be ready, we just hang out for a few weeks and then come home, get paid for it.
Is that when they were docked?
Yeah, especially in dry docks. They wouldn't have materials, something wouldn't be ready. So Mike was sent out there anyway. You get paid for 2 weeks, it's gonna be nothing.
Do you want to keep running that camera or do you want me to switch it over?
You can switch it over. I like that.
Yeah, I know. It sucks, doesn't it? All right. I am not seeing our door. Oh, okay. Set these down. MIDI.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah, I never really told anybody out there. If they wanted to join, they could. I always forget. About like, yeah.
Yeah. Get this lined up, just like you did this one. That's all you're worried about at this point. Just,
It looks like it's gonna set in there, all right.
if I were you, I would clean the door up right there. You could probably walk through that though. It's not super heavy.
Should I hit it with the grinder?
The cleaner it is, the better your welds can be.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit it with the grinder. good idea right there. Can I just hook onto this? Should I hook onto?
Let's push that down a little bit.
Okay.
See how flipping.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I see it. No, I'm gonna grab those clippers. It came out on me a little bit. Pinch the tip.
Not too shabby for a couple of double flatter
Hmm.
broken irons.
Broken irons. You want me to hold it? Fire in the hole. Whoa, shit. No, it's the mask.
That sucks. Get that done.
That ain't going nowhere.
Might as well run it.
Where did I put the? There it is. Huh? Too hot? All that snap, crackle, pop?
Yeah, it's a little poppy.
Oh yeah. You want me to hit it?
Yeah, you're too far away.
Put a bead on this side.
Yeah.
Better?
Still a little high on this side. Can I run this next one?
Yeah.
Your angle's up. Your angle's up too. You're coming in.
Oh yeah, too much like this.
Yeah.
It should be more like this.
You want to go into the thick and melt in this. You know, I'm horrible at explaining.
Still, I'm seeing that white dot.
So
I got it pretty good. It'll be all right though. It ain't gonna be a bad one. Where my eyes will hurt, but
you did that for like you did that every hour for 8 hours.
yeah, yeah. It's finally starting to come back. It's easier to. I could see while I'm welding though real well.
Yeah.
When it's like that, the welding's real easy to do. Oh. Yeah, I could see this one. I was going into it. This one, I'm hanging up on this edge. I'm not going down in there. That other one isn't working, is it?
You can on this side of the barrel. You can look at it. It's almost directly up. Actually, grab that dark shield. So it so it's all about the angle too. That was horrible, but I have a better angle.
Yeah,
So
you're getting them both together. Yeah. I laid a bunch of shit down for you to try to weld over.
that's not true. It's way worse.
Hmm.
Look at the back of that kick plate. I'm just gonna finish this one off right here.
Welding is so much fun. Hey, Flat Plain, Oregon. What's going on, brother? I don't think I'm muted still. Good.
type is called. Using this stuff.
Yeah, welding is so much fun. Take you in for a closer look here in a sec. Good? There's a new hinge. You want me to hit it with that? Beautiful. It's not going nowhere. You check the inside, see what it looks like. You see it right there?
Could be deeper.
Not bad, it penetrated. Heck yeah. Something to building stuff with your hands like this, especially when it's metal. Wood is fun, but metal is, man, it's so cool. Thank you for teaching me this stuff, man. This is awesome.
This is a pleasure. I enjoy this just as much as you do.
Now for the handles. Made a handle yesterday. Turned out, that handle yesterday turned out pretty good. This one up here. I think that should do good for the heat. We might even want to wrap something around it.
Perfect fit.
Yeah.
It's exhaust tape. You should put on race cars to keep the heat down in the engine compartment.
Nice.
It's
Oh, nice. Heck yeah. Yeah.
I've actually put my hand on the exhaust of that handle that I broke.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully these are nice and cool by now. Yeah. This thing's done. I'm going to reset the camera, set it up. We're going to be well. Are we going to leave this back here and just move the welder? Because we're going to be welding up here, right? By the clamp to do these.
Yeah, it'd probably be easier. Just bring the welder up there.
Okay. Let me move this right here. need to watch that welding. We can do it with the. We don't even need to do it with the camera. Yeah, I could probably. I'm about ready to end this live stream, I think. So thank you all for hanging out with us. Much appreciated. We're gonna get going now. I can use my phone to start making more of the video for the do-it-yourself smoker / grill. Charcoal, propane, or smoker, wood chip. All right, all. This is Adam A. McKenzie and Good Times for All signing out. As always, thanks for watching.